Unmute the mic and we're ready to go. All right. So, hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Here we are again, Zach.
Yep, back at it.
Back at it. Unbutton the button. Took off the lightning tie. We don't have much lightning. I meant one lightning bolt in South Newton County. Richard said, hey, I missed the weather. Can you show the 7-day really quick? I have to go to bed now. We do too, Richard. But we will show you that 7-day forecast. So here you go, just for you right now. That way you can head to bed and get some shut-eye. So we got some wins tomorrow. We're going to talk about that here on this Facebook Live. Boy, the winds are going to be pretty crazy tomorrow afternoon. That might be the bigger story, honestly.
Might even cause damage.
It could cause damage. It could also cause things to burn up. In northeast Oklahoma, honestly, the fire spread, especially with areas that aren't expected to see a whole lot of rain, it's going to be an issue. Saturday, the temperature is going to drop off. And then for Palm Sunday, the weather's looking pretty good. And active pattern for next week, and we've got that risk that's possible on Tuesday. It's an enhanced risk on a day 6 outlook. You don't see many of those. If you're wondering about the River Valley, here's a look at that forecast. Midday, some showers and storms. Late morning into the early afternoon at the best time. At best, that's the most likely timing. Windy Willie is out, though.
Yeah, he's back.
We're breaking out Windy Willie. You're wondering who that is. We just coined him that because let's just say we use that for reserve purposes as the winds are going to be pretty crazy. So there is your 7-day forecast. There you go, Richard. Thank you so much. Matthew says, Dan the man. Appreciate it, Matthew. What can we say for you, Zach?
I don't know.
Zach is back.
Yeah.
I would say the Hulk, but there's nothing that really goes with that. Is there any weightlifter? No. That's name like rhymes with Zach?
I don't know.
I have to think about that.
Yeah.
I have to come up with something. We got Zach Attack.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Jeremy, that sounds good. The Zach Attack. All right. He's attacking the gym. Call it Colby because he's the storm. He's blowing the storms away. All right, HRWFFV3 looks like that box of oops, it's all Supercell Captain Crunch cereal meme for Central and Eastern Arkansas. I saw that. Oops, all Supercells. It's like the Captain Crunch oops, all berries. Have you ever seen that cereal?
No.
Okay, so Captain Crunch, one of the best things about Captain Crunch is the berries, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's sugary. You see, you would probably eat that cereal. He's a health nut.
Captain Crunch was like a bland cereal.
Well, it is without the berries.
Oh, okay.
So when everybody was like, we like the berries, we don't like the little yellow, little clusters.
I thought it was all the yellow clusters.
Well, that's what it is, Captain Crunch. But then they have Captain Crunch with crunch berries.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, oops, all berries, and that's all they have loaded in the cereal. So Zach is back with Attack to Pack. Golly, Richard. He's still up, by the way. He didn't go to bed quite yet. Well, let's take a look, first of all, at what's happening on Heil Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler. Zach, smash any bad weather. Yeah. He could. Look at these guns, man, right here. He's built like a brick house. So here's a look at Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. We still got a little bit of shower activity moving in, but those storms, and you might remember yesterday when we were doing the Facebook Live, I was like, anytime you have a big system like this, squeeze on in here, Zach Attack. Anytime you have a big system like that, you typically get precipitation the day ahead of the system if it's strong enough. And sure enough, that's what we had. So I don't think that the risk is going to shift west. I really don't. The system is pretty fast. I think the southwesterly flow kicking the moisture to the east is going to be definitely something that is going to limit the severe weather potential. I think there could be maybe some storms that pop up in our eastern weather coverage area. Let's take a look here at some of the latest models, and we'll instead of us just blabbing away, right?
That's some models.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's show some stuff. So here's what we've got. Where did that come from? Did you see that? What? This is the hourly update. So maybe a few more storms overnight tonight. Yeah. That's 2 a.m.
I'm not sure if I'm buying that.
I don't think I do buy that.
Looking at the radar right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's on the dissipation trend. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens here. Ready? Nope.
No.
No, there it is. Finally, about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And it's already out of here by then.
Way out of here.
Kind of speeding it up because the previous models had it leaving by like 2 p.m.
Yeah,
And now it's still like 1.
But this is the HRRR, and we also don't buy this right here. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. In order to see if we buy that, we've got to look at what's happening with the water vapor. And we'll look at that here. But this was our initial timing because we had that window till 2 p.m. But maybe it's going to be more around noon that it'll be out of here. Hey, the earlier the better.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Let's get this garbage out of here for sure. So let's take a look here at the satellite and radar and see what we've got. So first of all, there's your warm front. It's probably a little bit of a different position now. There's your dry line that's off to the west. And yeah, I don't see a whole lot of development. Let's see if we got anything. Doesn't look like it. Some showers. I think we've already overworked our instability. I know it'll be filling back in, but yeah, I don't buy that. I don't know about you, Zach, but I don't buy that.
Nah.
Let's look at this. Let's look at some high resolution water vapor. So there's definitely some energy moving in. We'll let this load here. There you can see that lift ahead of the wave that we were watching, which, by the way, I want to show you that wave because remember how we were watching it? There it is coming through, and then boom, there's the storms that fired up ahead of it. So sometimes just looking at the water vapor is the way to go when you're forecasting. So that's what I call looking out the window.
Yeah.
It's so important. I mean, it's not physically looking out the window, but it's metaphorically.
Yeah, back in college, my professor told me before you do the forecast, always look like outside.
Speaking of the window, we just closed the window there. Oh, we're out. No, I'm just kidding. We accidentally hit the wrong button.
Going off the bed.
I need to remove that blank slate right there.
Yeah, there's no point to having
there is no point to having that air. Okay, I'm headed off to bed. I was getting ready for bed and decided to leave the stream on so I can hear you what's going on. Puffy clouds out. Well, there's going to be plenty of puffy clouds tomorrow. But yeah, so there's the energy moving through. What about the energy for tomorrow? See, it's already, look at this. It's already nudging into, and this is why I think we dry out. You're not seeing anything here. It's already nudging into the Big Bend of Texas. That's pretty fast, considering that in a few hours, it's already going to make it into eastern Oklahoma. So I get the speeding up of the system. Let's look at the weather system. So there's the vorticity. Remember that spin in the atmosphere. This is what caused the storms today. We mentioned that. We showed that. We predicted that. Now, as we move along, there are little pieces of energy, but the focus of the upper level lift is definitely going to be to the east of us. Yeah. And that's why that risk, there's two areas for the moderate risk. One in northwest Illinois, eastern Iowa, and then the other risk where there's still some energy, the westerlies, probably some supercells there. Then you could see that system moving out. Now, someone commented on here, Zach, about next Tuesday. Logan said this. Tuesday's severe weather threat is looking a lot more concerning for our area. What happened with today's outlook of Tuesday?
Kind of backed off a little bit.
It backed off a lot.
Yeah, backed off a lot.
It doesn't even show storms.
Yeah, now is that going to be a pump fake?
I think it is.
You think it is?
I think it is. Yeah. Because, and here's why. All right, we are. Oh no! Please don't lock up again. Come on. Is it locking up? Yeah, it's kind of glitching out. We got to fix this problem. We got a problem with this camera glitching out.
Yeah.
Hopefully it didn't happen. Let's see. Is it still going? No, it's pretty delayed now. Let's see. We'll know if the camera's glitching out. Yep. Glitching out. All right. I know how to fix this. We'll be right back. Let me know if you guys can hear me. All right, so here's the weather systems. And see, this is next Tuesday. there's plenty of energy that's off to the west. And this energy right here, I think will fire off some storms. I just don't think with all the instability that there won't be any storms. But the models have underdone the amount of storm activity with that system for Tuesday. Now Tuesday's risk is pretty substantial. If we look at it here, look at the models though for Tuesday. You ready for this? That's it. That's all they show.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. The reason is because they're not picking up on the short waves, which, by the way, not many models did for today. They just didn't do it. But the Storm Prediction Center and Elizabeth Lightman put this out. She is a brilliant meteorologist at the Storm Prediction Center. She knows her stuff, and the models are in agreement. Maybe not as much this evening with the outlooks, but there's a severe weather potential for Tuesday. I want to show you some stuff that I've never shown you before. We're going to look at some different computer model information. And this is going to be something called the scram. Now, I don't know if you guys, I'm not saying scram to our viewers on social media. I'm saying this is called the scram. You're going to see this here in just a second. So let's go to window. And this is called the scram. So the SCRAM is the Statistical Severe Convective Risk Assessment Model.
All right.
All right.
Say that 5 times fast.
Statistical severe. No. All right. There's all the storms that popped up with the HRRR. So this gives the probability of severe hail. And you'll notice that it really doesn't produce much throughout the evening. But then look at what happens when the energy starts moving in. Things start blossoming a little bit more. However, look at what happens. Look at where that blossoms to our east.
Yeah.
But look at it to the north. That's where that focusing is. I mean, that's where that energy is. There's no doubt going to be some strong systems there. So the probability is a little bit to the east of us. Now let's look at the wind threat. All right. So here's the wind threat. Not really anything. Oh, it starts popping up a little bit. And you'll see that once again is to the east of us. Now, when I say east of us, I mean east of the I-49 corridor. For our friends in Newton and Johnson County and Logan County, Scott County, and Boone County, those areas could be impacted just briefly.
Yeah, it could be a short window
before this system rolls out. Now let's look at the all-important tornado risk. All right, so there it is popping up briefly, and it just doesn't for us. I agree with this because of the southwesterly flow aloft. I'm calling it right now. I don't think this is going to be a big event for us in Northwest Arkansas. I hope I'm right, and I hope that remains the case, but that's what I think we're looking at. Now, here's another cool thing. This is called the NCAR Cam Viewer. And so these are some different things that you can look at. We can zoom in on this. It's a movable map. And so we'll look at the latest 0Z HRRR Neuro Network Convective Hazard forecast. All right. So this is an NCAR ensemble. You asked if there's ensembles for short-range models, and there are. So let's look at any severe hazard. And as we roll through this roller mouse, it just doesn't have. Now, this is for tomorrow, by the way. And so there you see a little bit of a severe risk. And yeah, it definitely ramps up as it gets farther east. And then look at those numbers really increasing. So any severe looks very likely to our east. Let's go to just the tornado. So let's look at the tornado. Is there a tornado risk? This is for tomorrow. And this is between, you can see the time frame there, 7 a.m. to 4 hours later, 1 p.m. Or excuse me, 11 a.m. 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Promise I can add. There's a look at that. It just doesn't really ramp up until it gets east of here. Even then, that doesn't look super impressive. Yeah. So it's just, the system is weird. It's behaving weird. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see what we got here on the max probabilistic. So there's the max 2 prob. Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know what this is, NWS warnings. So that's the chance of a warning. I think that's still just tornadoes. There's no warnings right now. SPC. There you go. There's the day 2 outlook. So if we pan up, watch what happens farther north. You're going to see clearly a greater tornado threat right there as the storms move through. Still doesn't really behave well, and that's probably because it's underdoing the precipitation and the storms. But boy, that really ramps up. So that gives you an idea why they go with the 2 moderate risks. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it?
I'm kind of interested to see how they change this risk as we go into tomorrow.
What do you think they would do? I think they'll still keep it over us.
Yeah.
There's going to be a gradient over us. It might be a little bit farther east, though.
I think it might be.
Yeah. So let's see what we've got for precipitation. By the way, we can't see your comments right now, but we'll get to them here in just a bit. This is still not updated. There's no new update. Let's update it here and see if we see anything. Nope, nothing new. Nothing to see here. Storms popping up, developing to our east. It's the same thing we looked at earlier with the 18Z, so there's really nothing to see there. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of where we're at right there. We'll remove that stream. And so I'm confused. Are we having severe weather tomorrow? Depends where you live. Because if you're on the I-49 corridor, I don't think so. But there is one more thing that I got to tell you about that will be just as important and maybe even cause more problems than storm potential, and that's the wind. So Mountain Home is in the threat. All right, so let's go here. Let's look at some of the comments because I need to know what's happening April 7th, 9th. Kevin, you're going to have to wait, dude. That's all there is to it. We can't even get it right 12 hours out. We're going to wait for April 7th to the 9th. Dan, do you see this severe weather season, less tornadoes for Northwest Arkansas or more? So I think there's going to be more. I don't see why there's going to be less. It doesn't make sense to me. I saw that was a forecast from another, and I was just like, that's interesting. I don't know why there's going to be less. There's already more across the area for this time period in the nation. Will they be less in Northwest Arkansas? I don't think so. I mean, eventually we're getting into that sweet spot. Remember, it was a year ago this morning that severe weather potential is cranking up. So just to answer your question, probably not. It depends if you're in you have to let me know where you're at because that really depends on your location. What will we do if the weather gets bad? So the weather gets bad, guess what? We're going to be here. We're going to be watching it, and we'll let you know. So we're not just saying, forget it. We're not going to pay attention to these storms at all because we know how models can work. We know how they can underdo things. One thing I think is going to be an issue is the wind. The wind is going to be crazy tomorrow. Look at all these wind alerts. We've got red flag fire warnings, which is the tornado warning of fire danger, high wind warnings. That means 60-mile-an-hour winds, and that is right on our doorstep. That is southwest Missouri. It's one county north of Benton County, a high wind warning. So there could be nearly 60-mile-an-hour gusts tomorrow. Remember, severe thunderstorms are 58 miles an hour or greater. That's severe strength winds.
It doesn't happen too often.
And it's just from non-severe storm and non-thunderstorm winds. That's pretty crazy. There's a look at the red flag fire warning that goes until 8 o'clock in the evening, starts at noon. That's when the humidity starts to drop. High wind warning till 7, and then we got a wind advisory till 7. So the winds are going to be pretty strong tomorrow. And if you want to see exactly how this pans out, let's look at this wind forecast. Now, the winds are going to be picking up now. You're probably hearing them a little bit all overnight. Now, look at this about noon. Notice how the winds are out of the southwest. So southwest is going to start drying out the moisture, and that lowers the instability. That lowers the severe weather potential. And there you see Friday, late morning into the afternoon. Now look at those winds. 50-mile-an-hour gust in Bentonville Rogers. So that's a very strong winds. Then the winds are going to die down, but not until after sundown. And they'll still be a little breezy, but not as strong. Yeah. And then we have a little bit of breezy conditions out of the northwest. That's because of the boundary coming through. And then Saturday night into Sunday, the winds die down completely. So we're in the upper 50s to lower 60s. We did warm up. We were at 59. Now we're at 61 at Drake Field. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Hey,
I was
Dan,
laughing at that
can
question.
Fayetteville go to bed now? Just kidding. Yeah, you can go to bed. What did you say?
I was laughing at that question earlier.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Can you go to bed? Yeah, you can go to bed. You can go to bed anytime. How's Mountain Home looking tomorrow? Like we said, there's going to be storms there, so you really got to pay attention to Mountain Home. You guys are more in the sweet spot where storms will develop. Thank you for educating us. What's the system looking like for next week? We showed that, Robert. It's basically non-existent now, but we don't believe it. It was worth a shot. I was just being a little sarcastic, but yeah, I know it's kind of tough to get it that far out. Do you know last time Mountain Home had a tornado? Yes, I do. February 5th of 2008, there was a tornado in Mountain Home. And I could tell you another date here. Let's look. So in Mountain Home, I want to say that happened right through my. Oh, look at May 3rd, 99. That was a big day. All right, so let's go show all. There we go. Ooh, man, a lot of tornadoes through Mountain Home. Holy smokes. December 15th, 1971. 1961, May 7th. November 19th, 1985. There's one that stopped right in Mountain Home. There it is. February 5th, 2008. I told you I was right. And that actually, unfortunately, killed someone. Here, let me show you what we're looking at, in case you're wondering. We'll bring up this and stop the stream because I want to share this. Make sure you got that. Yep. So here is a look at Mountain Home. This is called the Tornado Archive Data Explorer. And this will show you all the tornadoes. Look at this. So there's one right here. That was April 1st, 1939. That ended up injuring 20 yards. That's a pretty narrow tornado. These are all tornado paths. Look at this one going right through the heart of Mountain Home. That was an F3. Didn't kill anybody, but 1971, December. Hey, tornadoes can happen in December. Don't let it fool you. Here's April 20th, 2003. I wasn't here for that. I'm trying to remember. I do kind of remember that event, though, because I was working in Little Rock. February 5th, 2008. That lifted just to the northwest of Mountain Home. But you know what that did hit? That hit Gassville. I remember Gassville getting hit. Look at this tornado. That's the same one. Look at that right turn. And then how about one more? November 19th, 1985. Tornadoes can happen anytime. That was 3 fatalities. Pretty crazy. So, anyways, there's Mountain Home for you, and there's the amount of tornadoes through Mountain Home. So there you go. Red flag fire warnings, storms for windy and fire conditions. Yep. Already have my above ground tornado shelter than one I had survived more in 2013. Wow. That's crazy. That's cool. I'm glad you do have that. How do you feel about the severe weather risk for Tuesday? I do think there's a severe weather risk for Tuesday. I think the instability is way too impressive to not see anything. But I think there's still a lot of uncertainty. Time for a new weather rock. You know what the weather rock is, right?
I'm not sure about that one.
When it's wet, it's raining. When it's dry, it's sunny. When it's moving, it's windy. When it's gone, it's a tornado.
Oh.
That's your weather rock.
Okay.
What's the worst tornado Benton or Washington County has ever had, in your opinion? So that's going to be the Brightwater tornado in the 1940s. That was a F4. It was one of the strongest tornadoes. We can bring that up on this stream, and you're going to see it right here. So this was the Brightwater tornado. April 30th of 1947. That was an F4.
Wow.
Yeah. But look, 300 yards, but I doubt they were really doing very good surveys at that time. That seems a little narrow for an F4. But, it could happen. It just, look at it, 9 fatalities. But if you zoom in, you can see Walnut Hill. But Brightwater is the community that was in there, and so it doesn't show that. It's kind of a more historic place. There's Brightwater right there. You can see the Brightwater
Probably
tornado.
never even saw it coming back in 1940.
Now I remember that one, October 14th of 2012, which was actually October 13th. It was a Saturday. It was the same day as the Razorbacks playing Kentucky, and that was a tornado that went right through Rogers. Touchdown, went through the Hedberg Allergy and Asthma Center, continued northeast, went right along 62. I remember there was damage in Pea Ridge. That was just, yeah, there was a lot of RFD stuff. And then this tornado right here, 1954. I remember that one. No, I'm just kidding. I don't remember that one. I wasn't alive. But this one, I know exactly what tornado this is. What tornado do you think that is?
Was that last year?
Nope. I'm going to say that's June 11th, 1971. There it is, June 12th, but it was really June 11th because it was 002Z. All right, back to the tornado walking fact book. But anyways, Fayetteville, a lot of wind, a few storms. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot. 0Z is loading Tuesday. Check out the reflectivity and the sounding for Washington County. Good question, or good comment, actually. Let's do that. We'll look at the GFS, and we'll do that on Pivotal Weather. I think they have some of the best soundings. So let's check it out. So we got to go in here, and I've got to share the screen on that. All right, we're going to zoom in here a little bit. First of all, we're going to log in. We're going to go to content. We're going to go to regional. Before it wasn't showing much at all. Let's see what it shows now. We'll go to the forecast loop. We're going to use the arrows instead of the mouse because every time you move it, it doesn't do anything. All right, so there's that wave of energy, and then there's yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now it's got a little more, doesn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
All right. So this is going to be 117 hours. Now, this is what bugs me with the models. Like, watch. I want to keep it on 117 and change the parameter. When I do that, it goes back to the very beginning. That is frustrating. But anyways, going back to this, oh, man, that's a lot of instability. I do think Tuesday is going to be trouble. I mean, and I've been saying that. I don't think the models are handling it very well. So look at that cape. That's Tuesday afternoon. So if we click on this, we look at the sounding, and yeah, that's pretty impressive. Look at the baseballs for hail, 77%, 65 over 77. That's pretty impressive. This cape robber might be a little bit of a problem. The hodograph, let's see if see that gets better, but then the parcel process curve isn't quite as good. The shear is really good though, and then it's done. There's always that short window here. So weird. Marginal tour with very little instability. So there's going to be instability. There's no doubt about it. Let's look and see. See, another thing too is, and Josh, I'm going to send you a link because I know you geek out with me. We can look at the photographs here on this. Definitely a lot of streamwise vorticity, including what's happening in the river valley. I hate when you move the mouse and you let it go and it advances one more. So let's go here. Let's look at this. I bet you this will be interesting. Marginal tour. That's because the low-level winds are pretty weak. Oh, wow. Then the thing just gets boundaried. Huh. And we'll do one more thing. We'll look at supercell composite here. This is the newest GFS. So there's Tuesday. I mean, there's a lot that has to be ironed out, but it does appear supercell composite of 19. That's pretty impressive right there. Definitely hail is a threat. Tornado too, but I'd like to see those. I'd still say that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty impressive. Tuesday is going to be an interesting day. All right. Let's see. We still have some people. What time's the severe weather getting in? We've been kind of going off on a tangent. We did explain all that. We did all that stuff. Let's show you the timing of this. So here's a look at our best timing. So overnight tonight, a few showers popping up, rightfully so. There's mega Doppler. It still shows a little bit of shower activity. That's why we got 20% in there. But then it ramps up. Really, the timing of this is going to be late morning into the early afternoon. We have this timing graphic that we showed on the air. I think it really kind of lets you know exactly what's happening, Michael. But 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is going to be that time frame when it's knocking on our doorstep. That's just about 9 hours from now. 10 a.m. to noon, and then noon to 2 p.m. in eastern sections of Arkansas. Anything you want to add, Zach, at all?
Yeah, it's going to be a quick mover, a brief window of where we could see these severe storms. And then after that, a whole lot of wind.
A lot of wind. I don't think there's much hail either. I don't know. I just don't think these storms get organized. I think they're going to get sheared apart for us, and I just don't see that happening. Can you show us the past thunderstorms on radar and show you how you guys can tell if it's rotating? Wow, that would be I'd be really digging into the weeds. What do you think? If we get a bunch of people that want that, let me know. Oh, now the Texas Tech finally starts to show. I was going to wonder when it was starting to update. Yeah, now it updates. Yeah, that's going to be a while for that to start loading in. But yeah, the 0Z is a little bit behind. If you guys want me to dive into the Springdale tornado, we could show you that. That was a year ago this morning. But I don't know. I mean, I think I want to. It'll be done in 4 hours probably. That's what yeah. Chris says he wants to see that. All right. So we got second. Any opposed? That's like a business meeting. While we're doing that, I'll just show you some of the other models for grins. We'll see what they show. Again, this is showing storms popping up. Nothing. That's not happening. I don't see that. And then that just doesn't show anything until it gets east of here. Should we look at the 3 kilometer? Let's look at the newest 4 kilometer graph. So here's the 4 kilometer graph. Let's see what it does. Nothing tonight. I believe that. See, look, the wind's already out of the southwest.
Yeah.
There it is, though. Eastern counties.
The eastern counties.
It's the eastern counties, guys. Newton County. That's a supercell.
Yeah. Scott County.
Of course. That's going to be problems. Originating from Scott County. Yep, I will. I'll show them rotation on the radar. Let's go ahead and we'll do that. All right, so we have a few people that want to see it. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We're going to load up Mega Doppler then because there's really not much happening. So bear with me here. Zach, I'll let you kind of run through some of the stuff on WSI in the meantime while I load up this data because it's going to take just a little bit of time. Okay, you might want to maybe go through the 3 kilometer graph.
Okay.
Go through the 3 kilometer graph.
Yeah.
And see what it shows.
Yeah. So right now we're on the 4K graph. We can switch it over to a higher resolution model. We can time it out on that one.
March 30th. Boy, oh boy. What a storm. We'll load her up right here.
If I can find it.
It's going to be under, you can look up under scenes. It's going to be towards the top.
Oh, okay.
And it's all under future track stuff. All right. Loading her up. Getting the archive.
Here it is. All right. Here's a 3K graph. And as expected, looking dry as we go throughout the overnight hours. Then even into daybreak tomorrow, still looking pretty quiet. but there is that brief window where we're looking the late morning into the early afternoon where some storms are going to be ramping up. Doesn't quite reach it at this time, but 11, noon, 1, mainly in the eastern counties, there will be that chance of severe storms. But besides that brief window, Dan, looking pretty quiet.
Pretty windy. That's about the only thing.
Yeah,
that we get
and
out of
then
this.
once that front moves through, the winds are going to be really bad. So here's there's the wind chills.
Yeah, wind
Yeah.
chill. You can see that probably a Friday night.
Yeah.
See if you see Friday night into Saturday morning if that wind chill starts dropping.
See, there's
There's
that colder air coming down.
Friday night to Saturday morning. Yeah, it's going to be chilly Saturday to start off.
Yeah,
the day.
we're thinking Saturday upper 30s for those lows.
Yeah.
And then with that wind, more like the mid 30s. So Saturday morning is going to be pretty cold. Then we should be warming up as we go throughout the day. But can look at the NAM. Why not? Why not? 3K 3K NAM. It's an older model, but it still works good. So let's look at it. Sometimes, yeah. So going throughout the night, again, dry. And then tomorrow, late morning, some storms firing up. See, this is showing nothing.
Yeah.
The NAM is showing nothing. Not really buying that one. But if you look at the HR, again, it's showing stuff overnight, but not really buying that. And tomorrow morning, mainly in the eastern counties, then it should be out of here by 1 or 2.
And there's a supercell.
There's
there's going to be some supercells. All
Yeah.
right. Well, here we go. We got the radar loaded from the Springdale tornado. This is going to be a little bit of diving into the weeds. We'll do this for about 10 minutes. Then we'll answer some more questions, and then we'll shut this down because obviously it's going to be a morning for us when we're watching the radar. And Josh is going to be here with the latest. But let's go ahead and check this out. So remember, this is archive radar. This is not what's happening now. If you're just jumping on, we are looking at the Springdale tornado from a year ago this morning. And there's still damage. It's crazy how much damage there is from that tornado that hasn't ever been cleaned up. So first of all, you're going to see other cells that are out ahead of this, but there's one line in particular that's a little bit healthier. How do we know it's healthier? Well, you can see the brighter colors. We're talking the reds, the pinks. This is the radar reflecting more energy. The more energy that's coming back to the radar shows up as higher what we call DBZ. One of the things that worried us about this storm is you can see this little arrow right here, this backwards C, if you will. This is called the rear inflow jet. It's a sign that a QLCS has the potential to produce a mesovortex. Now, we did these studies on QLCS tornado. Now you're going to see this in real life. You're going to see this storm moving north. There is that what we call descending rear inflow jet. What's happening is air is translating from the mid-levels of the atmosphere, racing down to the ground and pushing this storm. And since it's sinking air, it's decreasing the reflectivity. Now, one of the things you're going to see here is velocity. Velocity lets us see storm rotation. And you're going to see there's not a lot of rotation with this storm at the moment. However, we're going to go a little bit farther ahead, and you're going to see something that happens that's called a line split. See how this right here started to, once again, descending reflectivity core, and then there's another descending reflectivity core. Now, we got to look at the rotation in this storm, and in order to do that, we look at kind of spectrum width. This is a really tough storm to detect, but you'll see right here, the radar is picking up on something that's beginning to develop. So in order to look at storm relative velocity, we've got to put the storm motion in here. This is key, folks. And for those of you that look at GR2 analyst, and for those of you that read radar, you've got to put the right storm motion. This is extremely important. So watch what happens when this storm gets warned on. We're going to enter the storm motion and wait till you see the difference in the colors. So watch this. Notice how there's very little color showing up, red and green. But that's because we don't have any storm motion that's related to the velocity. So if we set the storm motion from the warning, look at the dramatic change in the colors. So this is why it's really important to set that storm motion when you're looking at storm relative velocity, or SRM, storm relative motion. Why is that? Well, if the storm is moving, let's say, 25 miles an hour to the northeast, and you have a 25-mile-an-hour wind that's blowing from the southwest to the northeast, that gives you a 50-mile-an-hour wind, right?
Yep.
Because of the storm motion. So now let's go back and see if we can see any type of velocity rotation that's beginning to show up. In order to do that, we're going to do a 2-panel here, and we're going to look at reflectivity on the left, velocity on the right. And so as we step through this, you're going to see right at this point, something looks like it's beginning to brew. Another thing is you're looking as at a line split. See how this storm is starting to break apart, and it's right on the leading edge of the split that this storm is starting to spin up. Now look, we've got a complete line split. So number one, a line split means that descending rear inflow jet is coming down to the ground strong enough where it splits apart the cell. That tells you that there's a lot of energy that's racing down to the ground. Now, I know that it's easy to detect the tornado now because we know when it happened and we know where it developed. So it's kind of like armchair quarterbacking. No doubt about that. In the real time, it's probably a little more difficult to determine. But now that we know the signs, that's what we're doing. We're kind of looking at it. So let's go back to Mega Doppler, and we're going to see here, there is the circulation. Now, here is the problem with this. Our radar from Tulsa is over 6,000 feet above the ground. At this point, it's 6,500 feet. What was the thing about QLCS tornadoes that was one of the issues with the radar beam height? Do you remember?
Not sure.
You don't remember?
Well, once you say it, I'm going to remember.
Wasn't there a limitation to how high or how low the radar beam had to be? What was the threshold for the highest the radar beam had to be before you start losing the sight of the mesovortex?
Forget exactly the number.
6,000 feet.
6,000 feet.
6,000 feet. This is over 6,000 feet. So we're not seeing that circulation very strong. Now you're seeing the circulation begin to show up. And by the way, what we're looking at here is rain that's moving, or hydrometeors, or things in the storm moving from left to right. So it's away from the radar, and that's towards the radar. So there's your circulation. So in your radials of the radar, there's your circulation. Why isn't it showing motion this way and this way? Because that's going to be parallel to the radar beam. So the radar can't tell if it's either going away or towards the radar. So that's why you get this, what's called a couplet. Now, as we move along in time, now we're seeing, okay, something is happening with the storm. There is a break in the line. The cell has split. And now when we get to this point, we got to look and see if there's debris. Okay, there's no debris as of yet. What happened here? We're starting to see debris show up. How do we know that's debris? Well, when we have what's called a CC drop, correlation coefficient, that tells the radar that all of these things in this small area are not the same size, not the same width, not the same height. So it's tornado debris. And then you're going to notice here, watch this. So there's a CC drop. Boom. We know something was hit. Now, the problem was this was at the end of the tornado life cycle. This is at the very end of it. The only way to know it was on the ground is after the CC showed up. But when we go to that PTDS, guess what? Bam, it has it. And it has it exactly where it happened. There's the Springdale Municipal Airport. There's George Elementary. We know those areas were hit. You've also got, one of the things I'm noticing with the PTDS is it takes away the roads.
Oh yeah,
because the roads are white. But we're gonna have that. That's okay. I'm making it white. I think it stands out better, and we're still gonna do that. You can see the roads on the left, and if we need to, we can just bounce back and forth. So that is an issue, but
Yeah.
we'll deal with it. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with this too much. All right, so there's all the debris. Look at that, and then you can see it getting lofted into the storm. So that is a look from the radar from Tulsa. By the way, there's the tornado warning that's issued right about there. Well, unfortunately, at that point, the storm's almost done.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was a hard storm to detect. Man. So now what I'm going to do is let's look at the radar from a different location. Let's look at it from, we're going to look at this from Fort Smith. So let me load this up. Didn't last very long. So we're going to load up the data from Fort Smith. What do you guys think? Is it interesting? Are you falling asleep? We still have 54 people. Kylie said, I'm out. Rest up. Fuck her out. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. All right. The RRFS 0Z run is going crazy. So the RRFS is a local model, the 2 kilometer. I know I've seen that. That thing's going nuts. There's going to be supercells galore. The energy is just incredible. So anybody that's chasing, I'd go in Iowa. But the storms are going to be moving so darn fast. Cole is like, I'm loving this. All right, so we're bringing up the new radar.
Speaking of Iowa.
Yeah. Already severe thunderstorm warnings in Iowa. How about that? All right, next. Now we're looking at the radar beam from Fort Smith. Here's the problem with the Fort Smith radar. Anytime the beam is parallel to the line, you start to lose definition of that QLCS tornado potential. But you will notice the radar saying, oh, something's going on here. It shows that right there. Now, remember, we're going to set the storm motion from the warning. So we'll make sure that we get that right. There's a look at a different look at the radar, a totally different view. Remember, the red and greens were side by side going west to east. Well, that's because the radar was to our left. Now the radar is to our south. There is, along the leading edge of the line, definitely some circulation. And look, the model, the algorithm for the radar is picking up definitely some interesting things with the rotation. Now, this is just about before the tornado touches down. You're going to notice, first of all, that there is a little bit better of a circulation that shows up right there. So that's just to the northwest of Fayetteville. Look at the line split that's occurring too. The line split is happening right there. See this descending reflectivity core? There's the line split. There's the circulation. That circulation is moving north. It's pretty evident right there from a different radar. But remember, this beam is a little lower now. This beam is 4,700 feet instead of 6,500, so it's able to get those mesovortices just a little bit better. Now, the question is that really the true motion? Well, let's do this. Let's look at the actual circulation. We'll measure the speed of it by doing this, and then we'll go right here, set the storm motion from the warning. Now let's see what the velocity looks like. Oh, did you see that? It even had stronger towards right there. Even showed up with some blues. So that's 61 mile an hour winds going towards the radar. And then you have red moving away from the radar. So about 100, 120 mile an hour winds, what we call gate to gate. So there's your gate to gate velocity. That is exactly where the tornado was. So let's see if the PTDS, so the PTDS showed up on this a little bit earlier. This is when it hit George Elementary and it just absolutely explodes the debris and lost it up to 4,000 feet. Now here's another thing that's cool. We got another product called TDEF. This will tell you the strength of the tornado by looking at the debris. And it worked a lot better than that normally. Let's see here. Let me smooth that. There we go. Smoothing it is a little bit better. So there it shows, close to EF3. It's a 2.4. Yeah, that's weird. It's not maybe not working as well as it normally does. Oh, there you go. There you go. Now it's got it. So it's showing that circulation coming through right at that point, and that has it as an EF3. You can see that on the scale right there. 0, 1, 2, 3. And that's exactly what it was when it came through that north side of right by Springdale Country Club. It totally destroyed that cell tower. That was one of the places that had the EF3 damage. All right. Well, anyways, that gives you an idea of the circulation. There it is on the radar. We look at the CC drop, and that's when we knew that storms were exploding. You can see that debris getting lofted. Now, here's the problem. There was this right here. See that? Right on the leading edge of the line. That's why you can't see the circulation. And then once that passed, boom, there's the tornado.
This radar confirmed?
It was radar confirmed, but the warning I don't think ever came confirmed until later. Let's see if it did. Yeah, no, it never showed up as confirmed.
Because it would turn black, right?
Yeah, it would turn black.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a debris signature, but it never was confirmed according to that. It was such a tough one. All right. No. This is not now, Linda. You're just jumping on. That was no. This is not now. We're just going through the Springdale tornado a year ago. Okay, what about the tornado that hit the Embassy Suites in Rogers a couple of years ago? Can you show that on radar? Cole, we could do this all night, but let's save that for another time. That was the October 21st, 2019 tornado, and that was pretty incredible. That was wild. Yeah, no, last year. Will the weather radio go off tomorrow? I don't think so.
Probably not for.
I don't think for us. I don't think for Washington or Benton County. Here's Josh says, I remember that night. While we didn't get damage where I'm at in Fayetteville, it went over and was dead quiet briefly. Then the winds were fairly crazy for a bit after it moved north. Knew something was up when it was passing. You know what? We actually have that video of the tornado. Have you ever seen it?
I think you might have showed me, but I'm not sure.
All right. I think that's worth showing you. Let's see if I can bring it up real quick. I hope I can find it. There's the damage inside. Let's see here. EF3, Springdale damage. Oh, yeah. There's our coverage. That's all that stuff. I see that, but I don't see the Melco. Where is that again? I keep forgetting. Review the Springdale tornado warning. Here's this. I'll show you this real quick. So this is, I think you'll be able to see this. Kind of going off on a deep end, but this is really fresh.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It is approximately 5:22 in the morning, and here we are. I've got my son, Cade, with
5:22.
me as well.
Wow, we were there a little later.
So we are right now on the east side of Springdale. We're going to be doing some live.
Stand by.
reports
I'm going to share you
meeting up
this.
with our photographer. What I'm going to do though is I got to spin this camera around so you can see what reason there's no power in Springdale. Now,
this is super. I mean, this is right after it happened, folks.
People can't drive. Also on.
This is at the airport, and there's no way to know exactly where the tornado went. You can see kind of the power line.
Pretty hard. Actually, I think
and it was raining. We were soaking wet. You can see all the debris. This was like super early in the morning. Here you get to see the rain that's coming down. My camera was
most likely
soaked.
damage,
Look at all that
from this storm.
There's more power that's out. I was trying to drive north. There's all the trucks that are
I'm gonna check the
stopped.
time.
You can see all that.
Looks like, I see.
We're doing the radar update, showing the debris. Oh, that's why we knew it was a tornado. So that's some of the stuff that we were doing that night as after it came through. And there you can see that circulation. So we knew it was pretty much a tornado when it was happening. I don't think there's going to be any flooding concerns at all. I don't think we even see a whole lot of rain, honestly. I mean, maybe 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, maybe. Now, next week, late next week, that might be a little bit different. We could have a little more there. He just suppressed a yawn while saying that. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's about it. Zach's like, are you ready? We gotta go. We gotta go. So Josh is gonna have the latest in the morning. We'll be watching the radar. There's always a chance that some storms will be doing something else, but we'll see if other storms develop. Here's Lisa saying, okay, I just remembered you saying if you're in Pinnacle, get under cover now. Embassy Suites camera showed horizontal rain and debris. Yeah, that was so. Lisa, since you're on here, I got to show this too. We got a lot of interaction, Zach. So we've got to show this because this is pretty cool. I don't know if have you seen this?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to bring up the video of that as the tornado was crossing the camera. You could see it clear as day. It is wild. So Lisa, this is for you. If you're still on here, hopefully you are. I'm going to share this screen here. This is the weather blog with the radar loops and all that stuff. By the way, there's rotation. You can see it showing up. So this is the Rogers. That's a Siloam. Look at the Siloam tornado. Look at the size of that.
Wow.
It's a wedge that we caught on our weather camera. Here it is. Watch the power go out. There they go. Power flickers. You see that? Here comes a power flash. Power flash. There goes. And here comes the tornado. You can see it right there whipping by. That was the tornado. That's how fast it came through. It still is cranking up. Winds are going nuts. Look how fast that stuff is moving. Now watch the camera start shaking. It's moving around. It's at midnight, by the way. No, it would be 20 minutes from now. That's how late it is. And you can see how that's shaking around. I'm like, we just had a tornado. I was like, take cover now. Of course, Colby didn't see anything. There wasn't anything in the Fayetteville area. But we'll go up here, and this is the Siloam. This has some incredible lightning. It's probably one of the more impressive lightning shows that we've ever had on the camera. It was just nonstop. There it is, right there, coming in. So we got that, got the radar. There's the circulation. You can see the storm coming through. And you can actually see the tornado coming by. You'll see it right here. Power flashes. So that was the tornado that was coming through. Right there, can you see it? That was a power flash. There's power flashes back here. You see them? There they are. There it is. More power flashes. More power flashes. Those things were exploding on the backside of it. I say there weren't any, but I was missing them. Oh, did you see that? Tornado. and then the camera shifts. So we got some new technology that's going to be able to control the cameras
Oh yeah.
in a major way where it's going to be a lot easier. So we're going to be able to follow these storms so much for you guys. It's going to be amazing. Kylie, you said you were going to be going to bed. You said peace out, and I guess I caught your attention. Zach's, yeah, he's pretty tired. I am as well. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching this. Maybe a little bit off of a tangent Facebook Live, but like to educate, like to let you know what's happening. We're going to let you know tomorrow morning if there's storms or anything to worry about, but Northeast Arkansas, Mountain View, Mountain Home, you guys need to watch it for sure. Take care. Thanks for watching. And I had a little more hair back then too. God bless. We'll see you guys later.
Good night.